up on Mountain News this morning, child poverty plagues the nation, but here in Kentucky, officials say more than 200,000 are affected each year. And the Kentucky Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday over gerrymandering new district lines.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:31 on September 20th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, we have a beautiful day ahead. It's going to start getting warmer. It's like a great morning for a hot coffee and then an iced coffee later in the day.
Exactly, or any kind of iced drink later in the day. But here's the good thing about this time of the year. Typically this time of the year, your dew points and your humidity levels are not as high. So even though it looks and kind of feels warmer, it's not you're swimming through the air kind of warm, okay? It's just warmer if you're in the sunshine. We can handle that, all right? Let's take a look at I-75 at Corbin this morning, looking northbound there on the interstate, and you see not a whole lot going on. A little cool down that way, 52 this morning. 40s in Clintwood and Grundy, 50 exactly in Hazard and Irvin this morning. They've dropped another degree off there. And then again, low to mid 50s across most of the region. You got 57 Moorhead, 56 Jackson Harlan, and on this sensor, 59 in Monticello. Now, most folks are back to exactly where they were this time yesterday, but Moorhead and Williamsburg, Somerset, Monticello, and Wise are all warmer than they were this time yesterday. Breakfast forecast, pour those frosted weather wheats out into a bowl. Temperatures right there in the low to mid 50s throughout the morning. Olivia?
Brandon, thank you. Condolences have come from all corners of the Commonwealth for the family of Brereton Jones, the governor who made his mark in politics, horse racing, and more. Died Monday at the age of 84. Yesterday, we heard from fellow former Governor Steve Beshear and First Lady Jane Beshear. Jeremy Toms shares their reflections on his life.
His theme was trying to better this state in every way he could.
Steve Beshear says fellow former Governor Brereton Jones acted the way a leader should during his time in office.
He was an early believer that Kentuckians deserve to have health care.
Even when his plan didn't fully come to fruition.
He didn't get that health care reform done as much as he would have liked, but he got the ball rolling.
Steve says he started crossing paths with Jones in the 1970s. When Beshear had joined the state legislature. By 1987, both would vie for high-ranking positions to varying results.
He announced and ran for lieutenant governor at that time, and we both were running in the Democratic primary. His turned out a lot better than mine did. I lost mine.
But 20 years later, the Beshears had a strong supporter in Jones as they sought the state's top office.
We talked about it a lot, and he became an avid supporter of mine in my campaign and after my election.
All the while, First Lady Jane Beshear saw Jones work to lift up one of the state's staple industries.
You know, the Breeders' Cup is a showcase for what Kentucky is all about, from my viewpoint.
They say Jones moved the Commonwealth ahead in so many ways, and his futuristic thinking will leave a lasting legacy.
He couldn't have done that without Libby and his family, and so I think they'll all kind of be remembered together as a team for what they did for our state and our country.
In Clark County, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Millward Funeral Directors confirmed to our sister station WKYT that the former governor will lie in state this coming Monday at the Kentucky Capitol. The visitation for Brereton Jones will be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the Capitol Rotunda. That news comes after Governor Andy Beshear ordered flags to half staff in his honor. 2 people are facing charges after police found 2 children in deplorable conditions. Deputies in Laurel County were called to a home on Saturday for a domestic violence complaint. Officials say Austin Neely and Brianna Fulton were found under the influence and said they had used meth earlier in the day. Police also found 2 children inside the home. Police say the home had electrical wires hanging from the ceiling, and clothes, trash, and rotting food were reportedly piled up throughout the house. Social Services was called in to assist with the investigation. Neely and Fulton are both charged with assault, public intoxication, and 2 counts of wanton endangerment. They were taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Monticello man is behind bars following a traffic stop. Monticello PD conducted the traffic stop just after 9 p.m. Monday night on Ridgewood Avenue. It was for a traffic violation. Deputies received complaints of harassment and threatening earlier in the evening. They were able to recognize the white Toyota Tacoma that had matched the description of what they were looking for. 37-year-old Jason Piercy was charged DUI, among others. Manchester police say they arrested a man on a warrant. Police say they arrested David Arnott Monday. He is accused of taking things from a storage building at the Crossmount campgrounds earlier this month. He is in the Clay County Jail and charged with burglary, theft, and criminal trespassing. A Lexington man is facing charges following a police chase in southern Kentucky. It happened last Saturday on US 25W near the KFC in Corbin. 21-year-old Jesse Collier took off after a Corbin police officer tried to pull him over for a traffic stop. After Collier got onto US 25E toward I-75, police say he went off the side of the road and crashed. He was taken into custody without incident afterwards. Collier was charged with DUI, among others. There is a new report concerning child poverty, and officials at Kentucky Youth Advocates say they have seen child poverty increase in Kentucky. The organization Feeding America estimates that about 220,000 Kentuckians in central and eastern Kentucky experience hunger. Poverty and hunger can go hand in hand. Advocates say these issues can affect your neighbors and go unseen.
For most of us, it's no problem to go to our cabinets or our fridge to get something to fix that. But for a large portion, it's over 570,000 Kentuckians. They don't have those resources.
Experts at Feeding America tell us that there is a food pantry in every county in the state. Those same experts say kids across the state are food insecure, which affects their health, schooling, and entire future. Kentucky's Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday on gerrymandering. Democrats believe Republicans violated the state constitution when setting new district lines. The maps were enacted during the 2022 legislative session. The congressional district and state house district maps are at the center of the lawsuit. Democrats say the new maps give Republicans an unfair advantage. Republicans maintain they followed the law.
The lawyers here and elsewhere are hunting big game. They're looking down the road to a national Supreme Court case that permanently changes how districts get drawn in states around the country. So really, Kentucky's just one little battle in a much bigger war.
Some states have nonpartisan commissions that draw up districts. So far, Kentucky has not adopted that method of drawing the lines. The Biden administration has awarded a $5 million grant to Kentucky to help connect people who lost employment during the COVID-19 pandemic with new jobs. The Department of Labor is focusing on connecting displaced workers with jobs in infrastructure, environmental work, and caring for children and the elderly. This is part of a larger grant program that is awarding more than $57 million to 12 different states.
If we ensure that individuals, particularly individuals that are disproportionately impacted, can move from the sidelines to good career path, that again presents a greater opportunities for everyone.
The project is estimated to help 10,000 displaced workers across the country. Some of the other states near our area receiving part of the grant are Ohio and Tennessee. The Kentucky Retail Federation held its second annual Retail Recharge Conference in Lexington yesterday. Industry experts shared insight on several topics, including organized retail crime. Alicia Dawson is the chair of the KRF. Dawson and her husband own a pharmacy in eastern Kentucky. She says she sees firsthand how the business landscape has changed, specifically after the COVID-19 pandemic. She says it's good to have an opportunity for retailers to come together.
It's a great opportunity to meet other people who have probably gone through the same things and maybe find some solutions to some problems that we didn't know were possible.
The #1 problem retailers face right now, Dawson says, is organized retail crime.
.641 here on this Wednesday morning. We are looking at the Mountain Parkway. Usually we can't see this camera when it's this early because there's not any lights up there, but it looks like it's in better shape this morning. Maybe some moonlight trying to shine through there, a little bit of light traffic, but 55 up there. Wolf-Powell County line looking west, about over toward the Slade area, over toward the Red River Gorge this morning. And you're looking at temperatures in the 40s in Southwest Virginia, Clintwood and Grundy, to the upper 50s in Monticello, Jackson, Moorhead, Harlan, and then basically low to mid 50s everywhere else this morning. So again, take it easy out there. Some patchy dense fog. As we look ahead, we're going to see that fog move out, sun move in, and temperatures go up into the low 80s as we head deeper into the daytime hours. About 81 for a daytime high early this afternoon. Olivia?
Thanks, Brandon, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Possible murder charges and a horrific hit and run caught on tape. Stay with us as we look at why police think 2 teenagers drove into a cyclist on purpose.